time. What? I think,
Oh, Jesus. Meisters, here's an option I have yet not to choose. Apparently a very funny one from what I'm told. Being locked up alone with a boy? After a little thought, Junpei decided that she had to be nervous about being locked up in such a small space alone with a boy. In a way, it was kinda cute. Very demure, you could say, he thought. Still, even though it wasn't exactly roomy in this elevator, they weren't going to be pressed up against one another. At least they didn't have to be. Still, it was making her nervous. Junpei couldn't help but think how innocent she was. Oh, Junpei! Whoa! Come on, let's go! Again, he stepped towards the elevator. And again, he felt himself restrained. I said, wait a minute! Why? Aren't you afraid, Jumpy? Afraid of what? Well, I've never, you know... She's never been in an elevator of a man alone before? Even so, she still seemed awfully alarmed. I might get wet. What? Oh no! Down there, I'd get soaking wet. Well, I mean, of course you would. That's the way it works. I mean, I've never heard of anyone getting soaking wet somewhere else. That's true. You don't mind? Mind what? Getting wet? Well, I don't know. I think I'd probably, like it. Gosh, Jumpy, you're so brave. Really? I mean, I kind of think any guy would do the same thing, What happens, happens, right? If you get the chance, you just gotta go for it. That's what a man's supposed to do. I guess. You're so cool, Jumpy. I really admire you. That doesn't really seem like the sort of thing you ought to admire someone for. I'm really scared. Yeah. I mean, like you said, you've never done it before. Yes. So I don't think I'll be able to last very long. And then it'll be over. Over? Yes. I'll go to heaven. Heaven? It feels kind of like you're floating in space and your mind gets all fuzzy like when you pass out. At least, that's what I've heard from people who have experienced it. Ah, yes, I've heard of that too. Although I don't think the same thing happens to guys. What? Huh? But it would happen to men too, wouldn't it? It would happen to anyone. Once it gets in your body, the same thing happens to everyone. Well, I mean, usually it doesn't go inside the man. I mean, generally. The context for this. Poor Junpei. Yes, it does. Well, eventually it will. It's not like you really have a choice. Your body will force you to swallow some of it, eventually. What are you trying to do to me, June? Nothing. I'm not going to do anything to you. I'm just saying that's what happens. It's a psychological reaction to what you're experiencing. Was that really how it happened? It occurred to Junpei that perhaps that was how it worked. Perhaps he mistaken all these years. Had he misunderstood life so gravely? The thought terrified him. June seemed to be entirely oblivious to Junpei's mounting confusion and terror. I know most men probably have larger lungs, but even then I don't think you could hold your breath for 20 or even 10 minutes. Eventually you'd have to breathe and then the water would get into your lungs. Once that happens, your body won't be able to get oxygen anymore and you'll start to feel that floaty feeling as you pass out. Oh, poor Junpei. Finally, Junpei understood. He understood what June was trying to say and why she was so scared. Yeah, you're right. You wouldn't last very long. See? She was afraid that the only elevator button pointed down. That meant, of course, that the elevator couldn't go any higher than the floor they were on. Not... Wow. Wow. I see why I should have picked that option. That was hilarious. Anyhow, as he thought about it, Junpei realized he hadn't seen elevators on the A or B decks near the central staircase, all of which meant that the elevator could only convey them to the lower decks. Anyways, I think that's it, yeah. We'll skip by and we'll be back at a new option when it presents itself. Alright friends and meisters, welcome back to yet another impasse. Last time we had chosen door 1. However, I want to see what happens if we choose door 1 here. As last time we had selected 2 different decisions. Maybe it'll change the outcome in our favor this time. And if nothing changes, since our puzzles have already done, I can simply just skip over them and we'll be right back here regardless. But that's what I think I'm going to try. Well, my choice is door 1. Santa was unconvinced. Don't worry, we got cheat codes. Anyhow, I'll see you at the end of the puzzles, and we'll see what happens. Meisters, we're back at yet another weird thing. I don't quite remember this dialogue from last time, and the game seems to have stopped me as well. For no reason he could fathom, Shinsei's head began to hurt. A sharp, piercing pain. A sharp pain in his head. How much time had passed, he wasn't sure. But he did notice when Ace strode for the door. Okay, that's also something I don't remember being in the first playthrough either. We had started talking, and instead of, going on and talking, she had said, well, I don't want to do this right now. Which is a little strange. I guess since we didn't have the conversation when we were with Seven, she kind of doesn't want to open up to us at this point, and have that same conversation about her brother as well. Huh. Also, I don't remember, after talking about a grim death and talking to her about this sort of thing, that she started smiling. Was his mind playing tricks on him, Junpei wondered. For a moment, he could have sworn he'd seen Clover smile. I don't like that one bit. Just had a bit of a capture hiccup. But last time around this point when we found the Uranus card, what had happened is we shared that info with Ace and Clover. However, this time, he simply gripped it tighter. He kind of just held it, looked at it like, huh, and then stuck it in his own pocket without telling anyone. So I found that a little strange as well. That's just a little something different that we at least got this time around. So there are some key differences here. And I don't mean to make that a pun because there's a key here. From the decisions we made last time. Like I said, I think it all stems in this room from that talk that we didn't have from Clover, which is what that big changing point was. Assuming, since we didn't even go to that room in the first place, we didn't really bond with her in the same way. That's at least my theory on the thing. However, again, I guess we'll see if anything changes. What is that? What the hell is it in your pockets? I wonder. What the hell? Come on, we gotta hurry! With that, Clover ran straight past a somewhat confused Junpei. As she did, he caught a glimpse of her back. Sticking up from her collar was something that looked like a big wooden stick. Nope! Hey, Clover, what the hell's that thing on your back? She didn't respond. Instead, she quickly turned the corner and disappeared. Oh, wonderful. We all know what that big wooden stick probably is. Junpei did his best to convince himself that he would make sense later and ran off after Clover. Make sense of it later. Junpei pushed through the door and found himself in a large room with a large set of stairs. It was just what he'd expected to see after reading the map. His I see after reading the map himself meant that Ace had probably realized the same thing. Junpei looked around, but Ace was nowhere to be seen. He put his hand on the handrail and leaned over to look down. There he was, and not just Ace, Santa, June, Seven, and Lotus as well. Junpei and Clover glanced at each other and hurried down the stairs. They reached B deck at the same time. Jumpy! Clover! June's face was excited. Something had happened. That much Junpei could tell by simply looking at her. What's up? Given their situation, he was not inclined to be excited about sudden developments. June, however, couldn't contain herself. We found it! Found what? We found it! What did you find? The last door! We found door 9! Wait, what? Come on, just follow us. We'll explain on the way. Oh. Okay, let's go. 7 turned and jogged off down the stairs. The rest followed. We finally made it! The relief and excitement in her voice echoed what each of them had felt. Yeah, it's finally time! Junpei wasn't quite ready to believe they'd really done it, at least not just yet. Still, if everyone said that it was door 9, then it probably was. He could feel his heart racing. A mixture of anticipation and fear ran through his veins. He could feel his legs shaking. He was doing his best to maintain a sense of healthy skepticism. But he couldn't deny that the prospect of escape was an exciting one. I can see why. But there was one thing he couldn't get out of his mind. The numbered door could only accommodate 3 to 5 people. There were 7 of them on their way to the door 9. That meant that even in the best case scenario, there would be 2 of them that would have to stay behind. 2 people. He didn't have any solutions to that problem yet. He was desperately hoping that one would present itself. Junpei looked over at the clock. The hands indicated that it was 4:30. They had 90 minutes before their time was up. Hey! Junpei! June! What the hell are you 2 doing? Hurry it up! Santa's voice jolted Junpei out of his reverie. He cannot talk today, apparently. Let's go, Jumpy! June took off down the stairs, jogging as quickly as she could. Junpei followed. They were quiet for a while until they had just reached C deck when Clover spoke. Hey! What about door 2? Everyone else stopped. They all turned to look at Clover. 7 spoke. What about door 2? Door 2 is the only one we didn't check. Or we haven't gone through, I mean. Yeah. Yes, that is true. Are you guys okay with that? Not investigating it, I mean. So what? We found door 9. We don't need any of the other doors. What's the point? What's the point in going to door 9? We can't all go through it, can we? And we should do what we have to do before we go any further. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. The best way to finish it quickly is to do the broader pieces first. Border pieces, you know? Or what? You think all 7 of us should go to door 9? And then we argue over who stays behind and gets to go? Do we really want to do that again? Who knows? If we check out door 2, maybe we'll find something. Maybe we can find a way to get all of us out. I don't know what might be in there. We might not find anything. But don't you think it's better to at least give it, or at least have a look? I mean, am I wrong? Does that sound wrong to you guys? Well, no, not really, actually. But none of them want to. Yeah, you have a point. The others nodded in agreement. The last time I checked the clock, it was 4:30. It's not like we got a lot of time, but if we're quick about it, we might have time to take a look. You're right. Let's go take a look at the door, too. Okay, well, I guess that's what we're doing then. We're back in front of the elevator. Nearby was the large hospital room. The elevator could take them down to door 2. After a few minutes of discussion, they decided that Clover, Santa, June, and 7 would go. 4 plus 3 plus 6 plus 7 equals 20. And that gets us to the 2 plus 0, and that's a 2. Makes sense. Alright, let's get going! I'll see you later. Okay, but be careful. This is interesting. This is different. We didn't do this last time. We went straight to door 9. They climbed into the elevator, and Junpei listened to it creak and rattle its way down to the bottom deck. Only Junpei, Ace, and Lotus were left. As the elevators rumbled out of sight, Ace spoke. Lotus, would you be so kind as to go with me? Go with you? I don't think people still talked that way outside of the 1950s. Well, I'm a mother. Would that be a problem for you? That wasn't what I meant to. Poor Ace. I was hoping you would come with me. Seriously though, I was kidding. So, where was it you wanted to take me? There's something I wanted to show you. Hey man, what the hell? I'm not important enough. Well, it's not like that. Once I've shown Lotus, I'll show you. Really? Of course. Ace's smile was friendly. Fine. Do whatever you want. Thank you. Are you coming, Lotus? Fine. It doesn't look like they're going to be back anytime soon. I might as well go see whatever it is you think is so important. Thank you. Well then, shall we go? Ladies first. Ace turned and began to walk. Lotus followed. They disappeared into the hallway on the left. That is strange, Junpei. I don't know why you're letting them do that. Junpei wasn't sure how long they'd been gone when the elevator suddenly opened. Okay, there's no one on it. Okay, never mind. Clover. A single person stood there. Clover. She looked at Junpei, then slowly, purposely stepped out of the elevator. The door closed behind her. Where's everybody else? What happened? She didn't answer. Instead, her eyes swept the room, then settled on Junpei. Where are Ace and Lotus? Junpei explained what had happened. Oh, and they went over there? Her voice was small and timid. Yeah, I think so. He repeated his earlier question. So where are June and Santa and Seven? Why aren't they with you? You really want to know? There was something wrong with her smile. Yeah? Okay, sure. Here, let me show you. Clover pulled something out of her pocket and tossed it on the floor at Junpei's feet. Oh, is that the gun? He looked down. On the floor in front of him were 3 metal rings. Bracelets. Okay, that's not the gun, because I thought Santa had a gun. Wait a second. Bracelets? Oh my god! Oh, holy shit! Junpei collapsed. No way! This has got to be some kind of joke! This can't be real! Junpei's body felt like rubber. His heart felt like a cold lump in his chest. His hands shook uncontrollably. Sweat poured down his face. The 3 bracelets sat there on the floor before him. He could see the numbers on their faces. 3, 7, and 6. Jesus Christ, don't tell me she did that. Lastly, let us discuss how to remove the bracelets. There are only 2 ways to do so. 1, you escape from the ship. 2, your heart rate reaches 0. Hence the name Zero Escape. In other words, once the bracelet is taken outside the confines of the ship or detects that its wearer's heartbeat has fallen to 0, it will shut down automatically. But why? Junpei's voice was flat and broken. Clover's response was cold. Revenge for my brother, who was forced into door 3 and murdered. We need at least 3 people to open the door. Who were the 2 that opened the door with him? It could only have been Santa and Seven. That's why I killed them. 2 plus 3 plus 7 equals 12. 1 plus 2 equals 3. Well, yeah. But why? Why did you kill June? Because she tried to protect them. She was in my way. She had to die too. No, she didn't do anything wrong. No. Junpei shook his head, trying desperately to wake himself from what it had to be a dream. It couldn't be real, it just couldn't. Hey, Junpei! He felt Clover's hand on his shoulder. Her smile was wrong. Horribly wrong. Agreed. That's not quite the smile we know of her. Her face looked like a mask made from stretched human skin. The smile that parted her lips did not extend to her eyes. They were dead and empty. The girl in front of him was no longer the Clover he had known. Perhaps she was not even human.
Let's go!
Her hand reached out towards him.
Let's get out of here! Let's leave this ship!
What the hell are you talking about? To open a numbered door?
Yes, I know! We need at least 3 people! As long as we have this!
Once again, Clover reached into her pocket and pulled something out. It was another bracelet. Junpei could see the number on the face. 0. 0. Oh my. She took that bracelet too. You've got something in your pocket. What is it? Oh, this.
This is... See? You get it now. When we have the 0 bracelet, we can leave. You and I can open door 9 with just the 2 of us.
4 plus 5 plus 0 equals... okay, yeah.
See? So let's go. Come on. Hurry it up.
She shoved out her hand again. Junpei looked up at Clover. She had the face of a demon. There was something else. There was a holy light that surrounded her. She was both a fierce god and a benevolent goddess, filled with love.
Junpei?
Her voice was soft. Her eyes weren't empty anymore. They were deep, so deep Junpei could feel himself falling into them. He felt dizzy. There was something oddly bewitching about her. Her mind was beginning to crack, or his mind, and his heart began to melt.
Junpei?
The hand she was offering to him, it looked so soft, so inviting. Junpei reached out with his own trembling hand and closed it over hers.
Ah! Okay! I knew she had an axe, but I didn't expect her to do that.
Junpei writhed in agony. He shuddered and twitched, his body spasming as he went into shock. He screamed until his throat was torn and bloody, then screamed more. His cries echoed across the room. Eventually his movements slowed, then faded. There was no more strength left in Junpei. He could feel his body begin to go numb. Ah! He no longer felt pain. He no longer felt anything. Whatever Junpei had, Ben was gone. The last remnants of his mind began to fade. Even as his vision faded to nothingness, he saw Clover.
Thanks, Junpei. I'm just gonna borrow this, okay?
Her smile was cold. What was left of Junpei's conscious mind drifted away. All that was left was a twisted, broken corpse.
God damn it! I had my suspicions the first time, but the second time I didn't expect her to axe us in the back like that. Let's get out!
Crack! That was a good bad ending. I just had a sense of dread the whole time. Well, would you like to keep the information you gained during this playthrough? Yes! And as always, Meisters, I guess we'll leave it off there for now. And we'll see you next time on Let's Play 999, where we'll hopefully not get stabbed in the back, locked in a room to die. That would be nice. Anyhow, we'll see you next time. And as always, Meisters, if you did enjoy the video, please do ensure to leave a like to show your support. If you would like more Shinigami shenanigans just like today's, ensure that you subscribe to the channel and join the Academy. As always, I'm trying to be active on social media. Do follow me on those if you so feel inclined. Links are in the description. And we'll see you next time, friends and Meisters, on 999. Why do I know? Because it's coming. And we'll try to figure out what's going on and try some different doors.